Moving on to Massillon, Ohio. Morning.
Good morning.
Go ahead, please.
I support President Bush, and in the news there's always the negative and the positive, but we need to lean toward the positive, and in America we honor our God, and our God is over all. And we should be praying for our leaders, we should be uplifting our soldiers, and we should stay in Afghanistan until it is secure over there and the people feel they can handle it themselves with a free country.
Alexandria, Virginia, you're on the air now.
Hi, I wanted to ask Mr. Saeed about Pakistani interference in Afghanistan. Pakistan destroyed Afghanistan, still doing it. All the warlords are in Peshawar and Quetta. I'm from Kalash, Mr. Saeed. If you could tell American public, tell about the Pashtunistan and tell about the Pakistani government interference in Afghanistan. Afghanistan never left by Pakistanis. And whatever help we're sending to Afghanistan, that's true. It will not go to the public. And today the warlords are sitting in Peshawar, in Quetta, in Pakistan, in Pashtunistan. All the Al-Qaeda are there. And everybody knows, Mr. Saeed knows it, where they are, and nothing to do with Afghanistan. And Pakistani interference must be stopped to Afghanistan to breed. All American soldiers know, all American involvement is welcome to Afghanistan, and Afghan people love Americans, has nothing to do with it. And all Taliban are madrasa from Pakistan.
Thank you.
Pakistan's interference, as we can call it, started with when the Soviets occupied Afghanistan in 1979. And Pakistan agreed to be a part of an international coalition along with the United States, forcing the Soviets to leave that country. And we should not forget that there were 3 million Afghan refugees in Pakistan, putting tremendous pressure on Pakistan's economy, Pakistan's culture, and also promoting the culture of militancy within the Pakistani society. When the Soviets left, there was a series of civil wars in Afghanistan by the people and different tribes of Afghanistan, ultimately leading to the victory of Taliban. And now, of course, there's a different situation altogether. Yes, I would agree to a certain extent that some of the Pakistani army journals, they were interfering in Afghanistan before 9/11. But I do not think so that after 9/11 they are doing the same. Because if they do the same, if they support Taliban or if they support Al-Qaeda, then it means that they are in direct conflict with the United States, which is not the case. In fact, Pakistan is cooperating as far as intelligence goes, as far as logistics goes on the land. They are supporting the United States, and there are no complaints from the United States as such that Pakistan is not cooperating.
But can you explain something? What made a big buzz in the news was a reported the peace agreement or some type of treaty between Pakistan and the Taliban in Afghanistan.
Right, okay, let me explain.
Yeah.
You know, actually we are talking of Waziristan tribes in Pakistan. Mm-hmm. They are not Taliban at all. They were part of international jihad during the Soviet Union, supported and encouraged by the United States as such also. And South Waziristan or Waziristan as such, the tribal areas became the center of an activity against the Soviets. Some of the foreigners came, of course, with the knowledge and encouragement of the United States government to fight against the Soviets, and some of them stayed there, they married there. So they were not Taliban as such. There were, of course, there were some disagreements between the tribals and the Pakistani government as far as stationing of Pakistani troops are concerned in that area. And I think that matter has been settled with those tribes.
But there was a quote from someone in Pakistan, high-ranking, that said, if Osama bin Laden lives a peaceful life, they're not going to go and try to get him. That's what we read in the news anyway here. Did you hear that?
I don't think so. This is a main view in Pakistan. Of course, Osama bin Laden is involved in criminal activities, in 9/11 activities and he is an international criminal. And of course, if someone knows where is he, I don't think so that there's so much intelligence gap between the Pakistani side and the United States side. As I said, they're cooperating with each other on this issue.
The Washington Post story from Sunday said bin Laden trail stone cold. They just don't know where he is and don't have haven't had a tip in quite some time. To what extent would the capture or death of Osama bin Laden affect development within Afghanistan at all?
I don't think so. It'll be the same situation as Zarqawi was killed, and not much has happened in Iraq, or when Saddam Hussein was captured, not much happened. I think Osama bin Laden, as far as we know, is totally ineffective as far as logistics and the practical steps are concerned. Though he's a symbol, he has become a symbol of international terrorism. I think that's the situation which he holds.
Fayetteville, North Carolina, our next call.
Yes, sir. I just got out of the military about a year ago. I did have the opportunity to go over to Afghanistan and see what the conditions are like over there. When I was over there, the main problem, the economy is totally wiped out, mostly from the Soviet Union. There's minefields all along the road, and the infrastructure, as far as growing crops and day-to-day life, I mean, the people there live completely different lives compared to what we're used to, where they can't even go from point A to point B without the fear of getting their legs blown off, because most of them walk, or they take their camels, or they take their livestock. They can't even move it from point A to point B. The greatest work that we're doing over there is actually clearing the minefields, but that's a 10-year progress that the United Nations, a lot of countries are over there involved with, and that's really the start of it all. As far as we're over there educating, we're over there. I've seen people drilling wells down in Halat and Kandahar, and all of it's coming out of Bagram. I was over there and seeing and talking to the people. I could not be more pleased with what we're doing over there. I may not agree with Iraq, but Afghanistan was always a worthwhile initiative.
Caller,
always a hotbed.
Let me jump in.
A hotbed for terrorism.
Thank you for your comment. I wanted to ask you. You said you've been home for about a year now.
Yes, sir.
Which sort of coincides with all the news about the escalating violence and battling. Have you had any contact with fellow troops back there who have come back there in the past year? Do they say it's worse than when you left?
Well, I have heard from people that said that it was worse when I left. A lot of that, I think, has to do mostly with the fact that a lot of the new troops that have gone in there have been reservists. Reservists don't look as professional, and therefore they look as more vulnerable targets. And that's all that the hostiles over there were really looking for, were vulnerable targets.
Thank you for your thoughts and observations. Siad Hasnat.
Yeah, I would agree with the earlier point of the caller that good or bad, whatever it was, Afghanistan did had a certain kind of administrative structures, and they could deal with each other, even solve their conflicts. But the Soviets, when they came in, they destroyed everything. They destroyed all their institutions. They even destroyed the manner in which Afghan was settling their own disputes. And now all the burden of reconstructing the institution has fallen to the present government in Afghanistan. Definitely, we do not deny that progress is not being made. What we are saying is that we are trying to compare the progress with also the negative aspects, whatever are going on within the Afghan society, and that bothers us.
Stevensville, Michigan. Good morning.
Hello. Thank you for C-SPAN.
Sure.
I had a question. Back in 2001, 2002, immediately after 9/11, reports about Afghanistan were all over the news, and I remember hearing that 98% of Afghani children didn't go to school. Is that statistic better? Are there more Afghani children in school now?
Yeah, definitely, because during Taliban side, they closed the schools. I don't know for what reason, especially for girls. That's their own bizarre kind of their logic which they had. But after that, schools were built, and definitely children are going to school, but not enough. The progress should be more accelerated. There should be more encouragement by the tribals to send their children to school, and the whole process has to be really sped up, because then the danger of conflict and insurgency is always there. So there's kind of a competition between the two.
So are boys and girls going to school in equal numbers now?
Yes.
And why were girls not allowed to go to school? It's kind of an obvious question, maybe, but...
This was kind of a Taliban's logic. They also had other strange logics. For example, a person cannot keep birds as pets. children cannot play with balloons. Anything which gave pleasure, anything which makes a person happy was banned by the Taliban. And as far as the banning of the girls, their logic was, of course, which we cannot accept, was that there are not enough schools in Afghanistan, segregated schools. So, and we cannot send the girls along with the boys in the same school. So we will build their school first, and then we'll send them. But I think that was kind of a thing which was disastrous for the Afghan society, especially for the women.